Hey, you all, how y'all doing? Look, I got one essential thing I need to put on. Y'all, I don't know why my technology be trying to act up while I'm getting on my sip and stay with Stephanie. But sometimes it does. It be trying to act up while I'm trying to get on sip and stay with Stephanie. It sometimes wants to cooperate, and another times it does not. And it's all good. It's okay. I take the good and the bad, take them both, and then we have what? We got the facts of life. It's just a fact of life. Sometimes things don't go the way that we want them to go in the time frame that we want them to go in, right? Hey, y'all. Yeah. So, welcome to Sip and Say with Stephanie. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? I'm actually doing very well tonight. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling amazing. Y'all, I'm thinking about cooking after I get off of the broadcast. I'm having company this weekend, so I was thinking about cooking. I got some meat, just finished cooking, and I'm thinking about cooking some more meat before I go to bed tonight. That's just how good I'm feeling. Now that might change at the end of this broadcast. We're gonna see what happens. But I got my meat over there. I took it out just last night, so it's not as thawed out as I want it to be. But I got it over in the sink in some water. So we'll see what happens after the broadcast is over. My burgers are ready to cook. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put those in the oven. And so those are ready for the weekend. So I did not want to spend my entire weekend in the kitchen cooking for my guests. I want to be able to have some of that already. I should already had it done, but it is what it is. Y'all, my grandma's birthday was this week. So I got my grandma's shirt on underneath. I got my grandma, Sis May. I got her shirt on under. So I got my t-shirt on. I was like, I'm gonna take Miss May with me today. Grandma would have been now let me calculate. Grandma would have been 89 this year. So grandma would have been 89 this year. And so we celebrate. We didn't celebrate as a family, but we each had our own celebrations and our own times of reflection and remembering the impact that grandma had on our lives. And so it was, not a sad day, but like I said, a day of reflection. Missing grandma. Grandma passed away 10 years ago this year, and so the hurt of that and the grief of that has passed, but I still miss my grandma. I think about my grandmother often. I still actually have dreams about my grandma where she is usually serving in like a protector type of role in my dreams. So I still have dreams about her, and sometimes I'll see her in the dreams, and sometimes it's just her presence that I know is there. So yeah, so celebrating her this week and just celebrating life. I mean, just celebrating the fact that I'm alive, my family is well. We haven't had any, major tragedies or deaths or anything since we last spoke, and so I thank God for that. We have been well. We have remained alive. No one has been to the hospital that I'm aware of. None of the kids have been, hurt or different. Because some of the kids in my family play sports, so I haven't heard any reports of anyone getting hurt or needing to be hospitalized. And I'm thankful for that because it is so easy to get hurt when you are playing sports. Sometimes it's easy to get hurt just walking down the street, but with athletics, the possibility is always there for an injury to happen. And we have not had that in my family that I'm aware of. And so I'm thankful to God for that. And the one injury we did have in September, I think it was September, God supernaturally healed. Like we were praying. Yeah, like we're a family of prayer. The Humphrey family, we gonna pray. You tell us to pray, we gonna pray. And so God, through what I believe through our prayers and through God's just his grace and his mercy and his favor and his love, and definitely through our prayers with his stripes, that family member was healed and he was supernaturally healed. When he went back to the doctor was like, wait a minute. His name is Jesus. So we thank God for his supernatural healing and for God watching over the children in our family. God is an amazing, wonderful, magnificent, just spectacular God. And I give him praise and blessings for keeping me and for keeping my family and for keeping my friends. God is a good God, y'all. He just good all the time and all the time. God is good. Yes, he is. And so I just give God glory and honor for that. And I said all that to say I'm feeling good tonight. So how y'all feeling? You know, how are you feeling emotionally? How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing mentally? How are you doing physically? How are you doing spiritually? I've already shared with how I'm doing. So y'all let me know. Put it in the chat or add it to the comment section if you're listening to the rebroadcast because I am concerned about you. You know, we all go through different things in life. Different phases in our lives, different seasons in our lives brings different things in our lives. Tests, trials, ups and downs, but y'all, we have to know that God is with us, that God is an ever-present help in the time of trouble. Now, if you don't believe in God and you're not following God, then you know that's your decision. God is still good to you. God allows the rain and the sun to shine, the rain to rain and the sun to shine on the just as well as the unjust. So God is still good to you. Every time you wake up in the morning, even if you are an atheist, every time you wake up in the morning, thank you, Jesus, that you're alive. You may not say thank you, but I thank God that you're alive because God is still good. You know, whether you're his son or his daughter, whether you believe in him, whether you have accepted him, I should say that, whether you have accepted him into your heart as your Lord and Savior, God is still good to you. What we going through don't feel good, but God is always good. And so I thank God for that tonight. Hi, y'all, Wanda. So glad that you joined me tonight. So look, you all, tonight we are focusing on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are focusing on domestic violence awareness because this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well. And I'm going to give you some information about both of those areas. I'm also going to give you some information about National Novel Writing Month. Okay, I got a lot of information, so I'm going to dive right in. So y'all saw me pinning on my ribbon. So we wear a pink ribbon in October, or anytime you want to honor victims, or to honor those who have passed away of breast cancer, to celebrate those who are in remission, and to honor those who are still in the fight. So to say we are with you, we support you, our prayers are with you, our thoughts are with you. And so that's the pink ribbon. And then the purple ribbon is to celebrate women who have been rescued or who have gotten out of, I should say, because sometimes if you just rescue yourself, who have gotten out of domestic violence situations. We pay honor to those family members and those friends and those support systems that help those individuals get out. And we also take a minute to acknowledge the men and women who have died from a domestic violence situation. And so the purple ribbon is for that. Now, my purple ribbon is not thin because it's less important. This is just a ribbon that I had. Like I had some big pink ribbon here at the house, and then I had some thin purple ribbon. So I was thinking like for next year, I'm definitely gonna get some more ribbon. Because I keep ribbon at the house. I have no idea why, but maybe because I used to do arts and crafts. But anyway, I keep ribbon at the house. I may have even gotten this ribbon just for last year. But anyway, the pink ribbon just happened to be thicker than the thin, but both of them are equally important in the lives of those who are experiencing the effects of those different, situations. And then I'll get into, I actually meant to bring my books over so that I can show you my books, but I didn't get them before I sat down. So I may get them at the end of the broadcast, where I might just tell you about them. We'll see how it goes. Before, I knew it was something I was forgetting. Before I got my scarpinade, I forgot to put my Duplo minor in the refrigerator. I got my scarpinade. It is alcohol free, so that is what I'm about to sip on tonight. I am about to open this, and y'all let me know in the chat what you're sipping on. If you're listening to the rebroadcast, go ahead and add it to the comment section. Podcasters, what y'all sipping on tonight? Got me a little scarpinade. So what are y'all sipping on tonight? We had how was y'all weather in your city We had some beautiful weather in North Carolina today. It was such a beautiful day, and I was out walking outside a little bit after work, and not intentionally, I was just doing something, but I was outside for a little bit after work, and it felt so good. So when I got in the house, I opened my windows. I love opening my windows. So normally I open my windows around about this time of year in October, and then in April and May, March, April, May, and sometimes in June, depending on what the weather is like outside. I'll open my windows and just get some of that warmth in, and just to get some of that fresh air into the house. And so I had opened it. They were only open for a little bit, but I was like, I'm about to open my windows and let some of that warmth come in and get some fresh air. So I'm sipping on my stuff tonight, y'all. Ooh, let me pour away from my computer. Y'all know how I am. I'm be clumsy. I should have drank some water because I am thirsty. So I know I'm about to go this. So drinking on my scarpinade. What y'all drinking on? Oh, my Aunt Wanda, she's drinking on some H2O. Got some water. Mm, got a little dribble there. Ooh, what was that about? Mm, those grapes are good. All right, y'all, let me get right into this. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and start. So look, you all, if you want to take notes, go ahead and get you a journal or your notebook, get you a writing utensil, because I am gonna give out a lot of information tonight. Sip and Say with Stephanie is dedicated simply, or only, I should say, to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I'll give you a little bit of information about NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which is next month at the end. But so I have a lot of information to give you. If you don't want to write it down, it's okay. You can listen to the rebroadcast. You can also I'll put some of the links with the information in. That way you can go back and research things for yourself and glean more information from the websites that I'll be sharing information from tonight. Okay. So look, take a minute, call your sister, call your friend, call your brother, call your aunt, call your auntie, your uncle, call your cousin. Just let them know the Stephanie Humphrey channel is on tonight. And Stephanie is giving out information to support them in their breast cancer health and their overall health as well, and giving information about domestic violence. So go ahead and make some calls, send some texts, let them know the Stephanie Humphrey channel is live. All right, let's get into this. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. Look, I was looking at my computer before I got on and was like, I didn't pull my glasses out, because oftentimes when I get home, I don't pull my glasses out when I use the computer. I should, but I don't. I need to do better. Y'all pray for me here. All right, so let me give you some facts about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. 1 in 8 women. That's one person, you all, every 2 minutes in the United States in particular will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Not to say your diagnosis will be terminal, but just diagnosed. Early intervention is key, and we're going to get into that tonight. The 2 common factors of getting breast cancer, being diagnosed, I should say, with breast cancer, is the fact that you're a woman. There's the fact that you're a woman and that you're getting older. Okay, and y'all, I'm ready to get older. Like, I'm good. Like I told y'all a couple episodes ago, I'm loving the gray hairs. I'm getting some more. My gray hairs are not coming in fast enough. I'm not saying I'm trying to get older, but I'm like, I'm seeing more gray hairs and I want to see some more. And so, y'all, the only reason I got my hat on tonight is because it matched my sweater. I got to coordinate. So anyway, we're talking about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, not about my attire. I just thought I'd let y'all know, just be a fashionable, coordinating. All right, so the 2 most common risk factors is we female and we're getting older. Okay, so it is important that we know our risk for breast cancer, you all. One key piece of information that you need to know in determining if you will get breast cancer is your family history. Y'all know your family history. Know what your mother's history, medical history is, your dad's medical history, your grandparents' medical history, your aunts and uncles, like first, like you're not your great aunts and uncles necessarily, but like your mom and dad's siblings, know their medical history, know the medical history of your, siblings. And I'm not saying that you have to get the detail, like the full detail about that medical history, but get the basics. Is high blood pressure, does that run in your family? Um, um, Diabetes, does diabetes run in your family? Does hypertension run in your family? High blood pressure. Does what are some others? Breast cancer, colon cancer, liver cancer, any kind of cancers, does that run in your family? Like, what are your family risks? What is your family's medical history? You should know that. And you should talk that information over with your doctor. I know for my doctor for years now, when I go to get my physical or anytime I go, but thankfully I only have to go get my physical. I haven't had too many. I've had some medical appointments outside of that, but like nothing serious. Like, well, a little bit serious, but nothing like that require like surgery or anything like that. Just some minor things happening. I think just as I'm getting older, right? But anyway, they go every time they go over my family history, like my medical history. Like I have information about my grandparents, first my mom and my dad. And I have uncles and aunts, some of their medical information that I know. Like I know diabetes is, I'm not going to say it's prevalent in my family, but there are two family members that I know that had and then have diabetes. So I know that's something that I'm predisposed, that it's a potential predisposition for me to get that, or for that to be, more prevalent in our family. So just know your family history, okay? Knowing your family history can be key to helping you prevent not only breast cancer, but other diseases, because your doctor having that information can help them like keep a check on your health and keep a check if certain things happen. They know, okay, they got a family history of breast cancer. Okay, let's get some mammograms done. Let's get some ultrasounds. Let's do a biopsy to see, if this growth or is cancerous or not. So it gives the doctors an opportunity to I'm going to say press a little bit further when health issues arise in your life. Okay, so just know your family history. That helps you determine your risk for breast cancer or other diseases. Get screened. Oh, let me backtrack. Look, y'all single parents, if at all possible, let your child know the history of that parent that's not present, that may not be present, or that's present some of the time, whatever. If you can get that medical history from that spouse, or not that spouse, but from that parent that's not there, that will be helpful for your child to know if their father has, there's a history of health issues with their father's side of the family or with their mother's side of the family. If you can get that medical information for your child's benefit, then please do that. Like, and if you have that information, don't withhold it from your child. Like, let them know that this is your dad's medical history. This is your mom's medical history. There is potential for you to get this. And because we know that there is potential for you to get this, let's work on preventing that potential from coming a reality. Okay. And so, yeah, get the family history of everybody. Don't, I wish I knew the episode number of this, but there was an episode. Hawthorne was a medical drama that came out some years ago. It starred Christina Hawthorne by I see the actress in my face, Will Smith's wife, who I can't call her name right now, but she starred in it. Her mom was a nurse, and she starred in it. And I cannot think of her. I don't know why her name won't come to me, but she was the star of the show. And there was an episode where it was a young man, and he had it's something to do with his penis. Something was going on. It was enlarged or something, and whatever it was a disease or an illness that was prevalent in the African American community. So this boy was white. I mean, you looked at him, he white. Now he did have some Afro hair, but he was, by all skin account, he was white. But he was adopted, and his mom and his granddaddy had never told him that one of his parents was black. And so they withheld that information from the medical team as well. But as the medical team kept probing, they finally was like, look, we need to tell it. And once they shared it, they started looking at other possibilities because they could not figure out why this was happening with this young man. But once they knew that he had a Black parent and there was a there was a Black parent, and then this particular illness was prevalent in the Black community, then they were able to diagnose it and they were able to treat him. And so they were scared to tell him that he was part Black. You know, y'all can, figure out why. But it was harming this child. Like, it literally was harming the child. Not only was it harming the child, it was preventing the medical team from getting the full scope of his medical history, so they weren't able to give a educated diagnosis, for him. But again, once they got that information, they diagnosed him, and it was fine, y'all. And that just when I was thinking about knowing medical history and sometimes parents withholding the parents' information from the child, like, you may not for whatever reason, you may not want that child to see their dad or to see their mom, but at least you as a parent get the medical history of that baby dad or that baby mama, so that you can help your child stay healthy and hopefully prevent some of that medical history from happening. Okay, I know that was a lot, but it needed to be said. Okay, so know your risk, know your family history. Get screened. It is recommended for women to get their mammogram over 40, over age 40. Get your mammogram. I actually started getting my mammogram. It was a couple of years before 40, because like I told you all, some of the sign, well, two of the signs that are prevalent, that could be, I say, two symptoms of breast cancer, I was experiencing them. So it was a possibility that it was there. And so I got started getting screened in my 30s. I think it was in my later 30s. I believe it was. So yeah. But get screened, okay? After age 40, and then every year after that, unless your medical, professional tells you something different. And like I told y'all last week, my breasts are dense. So I always have to get an ultrasound. I think there may have been one, maybe 2 years since I've been getting a mammogram that I haven't had to get an ultrasound. But pretty much every year, I know that I'm going to get an ultrasound just to make sure that everything is good with these breasts that the Lord has blessed me. All right. So get screened, get screened, get screened, get screened, get screened, get screened, get screened. The screening helps medical professionals to hopefully find any lumps or any masses that might be in your breast, and that you can get, and if the potential, for breast cancer is there, they can detect that. They can biopsy that lump or biopsy that growth to determine if it's cancer or not, and then be able to move forward in the support that you need. Okay, so get your testing. I know during the pandemic, some men and women held off getting any type of like their annual physicals or mammograms or prostate checks, because of fear of going to the hospitals. Hospitals were overwhelmed anyway. It wasn't a lot of I guess room for anything beyond the COVID patients. But y'all, I still went and got mine. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go, but I went. I was like, I got to get this done, just to make sure that I'm okay. But so if you haven't been, even if you haven't been back since the pandemic, make sure you plan an appointment with your doctor so that you can get your mammogram done, and then an ultrasound if they recommend that for you. So get screened, get screened, There are some if you don't have health insurance, which that I understand that is a reality for some individuals, go to your county's public health. What I want to say, yes, public health. Go to the public health clinic or the public health department for your county and see what they can offer for you. I know we have, well, in Durham, there is a community center. It's a community health center is what it is. Because when I was without insurance some time back, I would go to them for whatever I needed. And they were kind of like, they did not treat us. They knew we were uninsured. They didn't treat us like second class citizens. At least I didn't feel that way. I felt treated and respected as an individual. And so, check your county's public health department. There might be community health clinics in your area, that you can get your mammogram done. Or your ultrasound. I know they can't. Well, let me backtrack. I don't know if, let me backtrack that, because I don't know if community health centers have the technology or the equipment for a mammogram and ultrasound because of the costs. But I remember when I needed some tests done, even when I didn't have insurance and I needed some help, like I needed something beyond what the community health clinic could do, they actually sent me to the hospital. And I was able to get financial support. I was able to, there is help, even if you don't have insurance, there is help, there is financial help for you, okay? And so there was I don't know the young lady's title, but she actually came around and talked to me about medical assistance because she saw that I was uninsured. So don't let the fact that you don't have insurance prevent you from getting that screening that you need. Get some support from your county's public health department and from any community health clinics that are available to you. Okay, so y'all, please don't let that stop you. And even if you are an undocumented person in the United States, please don't let that stop you. Go again, if you don't have insurance and if you're undocumented, go to the public health department, go to the community health clinic in your area to get the support that you need. Okay. Yeah, because we all need to be screened and tested. Okay. All right. I know you're normal. What's normal for your breasts? Do you have lumpy breasts? If you have lumpy breasts, then you just might have I'm not gonna say you might have to, you need to keep a check on that. Okay, I know my breast is lumpy. I got a lump here, got a lump here, got a lump over here, it's lumpy. But okay, so I know where my lumps are. If there's a lump that's there that shouldn't be there, then you call your medical care professional, call your primary care doctor, get an appointment set up so that they can determine if that extra growth or that extra mass is cancerous or not. Okay, so know the shape of your breast, know the size of your breast, know any, like I know I have a little pimple on the bottom of my right breast. It's been there for like over 15 years. It's not cancerous. It's never bothered me. Well, it has bothered me the last few years, but it doesn't bother me in a way of being cancerous or anything like we know it's not cancerous. But I know it's there. And so I know that, filling that space is not, it's not a new growth. It's not cancer. It's not cancer. It's not, it's not breast cancer because it's been there for over 15 years. It's just, something that's there. And so I know that about myself. So even when I go to get my mammogram, I let not the sonographer, but I let the individual who's doing the exam, I let them know, and they actually put a little stick, I'm gonna call it a sticker, like a little sticker there so that anybody who's looking at the mammogram and then the ultrasound, because I let the people at the ultrasound know as well. Normally I keep my sticker on, so the ultrasound, so they know, like I said, okay, I got my little pimple. So everybody is aware that it's there, it's been there for 15 years, that's all good. And so know your breasts. Know your breasts, just know your breasts. I know your partner, your spouse may know your breasts better than you, but know your own breasts. Praise the Lord. All right. Know and knowing your breasts, you can feel and know and determine what's normal for you as far as your breast size, shape, and everything like that. Okay. Make healthy lifestyle choices. We're going to get to that. Well, actually, we're going to get to that in just a minute. I'm going to get into more detail about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. But I will say maintain a healthy weight, limit your alcohol intake, and exercise regularly. And let's get into that right now. Because us maintaining, yeah, oh, thank you, Fernando Hawthorne. Yes, thank you so much. Jada Pinkett Smith, I couldn't think of her name. So Jada Pinkett Smith was the star of Hawthorne. They had 3 seasons. I got all 3 seasons. I watched it. I really enjoyed it. So yes, thank you. And hey, Uncle Darnell, glad you joined us tonight. And so, yes, so maintaining a healthy weight. Y'all, a lot of our health issues, I'm gonna put my paper down because I'm talking to me right now. A lot of my health issues could be prevented if I was healthier. In my weight mass, mainly exercising, yes, we can all be healthier if we can all prevent certain diseases and illnesses if we stay healthy. How do we stay healthy? Y'all, we know how to stay healthy, but I'm telling you again. Maintain a healthy weight, y'all. I know the pandemic. We stuck in the house. We can't go to the gym. Like we just sitting in front of the TV, watching this pandemic news, watching, everything happening. And some of us got a little bit more weight on us before the pandemic, and we put on a little bit more during the pandemic. You know what? I'm not complaining because I'm thankful I had food to eat. I'm thankful I did have food to eat. So I look at it that way, but I still have to say I put on a little bit more weight than I should have. So we need to maintain a healthy body weight. Let me tell you what a healthy body weight is. Let me get my sticky notes. I actually wrote it down on my sticky note. So your body mass index lets you know what type of weight you have, or what your healthy weight is, or possibly is not. So the body mass index, it measures your height compared to your weight, okay? So if you have a BMI, body mass index, BMI of 18.5 of your height and weight, then you are underweight. If you have a BMI of 18.5 to 24.9 of your height, between your height and your weight, then that's normal. If your BMI is 25 to 25 point, excuse me, let me say that again, 25 to 29.9 of your height and your weight, excuse me, your height and your weight, then you are overweight. If your BMI is 30 or greater of your height and weight, y'all, you obese. I'm just telling y'all, according to this, I'm obese. I'm obese. I need to slim it down. And this is based on information found at the CDC.org website. It's the Center for Disease Control. I found that information on their website. So you all research it out for yourself. I will remember, let me put a note so I can put the CDC's website in the description so that you can come back and reference it later and you can check it out for yourself, okay? So I'm gonna add and put it in the description so you all can have it later. So we need to maintain a healthy weight, you all. Let me tell y'all these statistics about breast cancer. And men, I'm gonna get to y'all in a minute about breast cancer. I'm gonna get to y'all in a minute, just speaking to the ladies right now. So give this information for your girlfriend, for your wife, for your sister, for your mom, you know, for the women in your family and in your life that you love. If a woman gains 20 pounds after the age of 18, her risk for breast cancer increases by 15%. If she gains 55 pounds or more, her risk increases by 45%. Being overweight or obese after menopause can increase a woman's breast cancer risk by 30 to 60%. The reason for this is because fat cells make estrogen after menopause, and higher levels of estrogen are associated with a higher risk of breast cancer after menopause. So y'all, let's just maintain a healthy weight. You need some help? I do too. Y'all, let's form a club or something to help us slim down. Let's get some of these pounds off right round about this midsection. Y'all, let's get together and work on it together, right? So maintain that healthy weight. How do you do that? Stay active. Like, I don't like to exercise. I do not like to. I used to teach an exercise class at church and at the community center, y'all. I used to teach an exercise class faithful every week. But y'all, since I've gotten older and put this weight on, I do not like to exercise. I do, however, love to dance. So my doctor said, you don't like to exercise, fine, dance. Because I would put me some Michael Jackson on, put me some Motown on, and just slide and glide all up and down the hallway, the kitchen, the living room, wherever I was, sometimes cleaning, dancing. So even if you don't like to exercise, move, do something that you love. Maybe you like to jump rope, you know, maybe you like to hop and skip, you know, maybe you like to dance. Whatever activity you enjoy doing, do that. You're walking, you're running. I know walking and running is exercising, but I'm just throwing it out there. Whatever activity helps you get up and move, get active. At least 30 minutes a day is recommended to lower our risk for breast cancer, okay? So while you're washing the dishes or ironing your clothes or watching TV, I mean, even if you're watching TV and, you know, of course you got the TV on, there's no music. The only person I know that do that is my granddaddy. He will have the TV on and his music going on at the same time. Granddaddy, you do you. You do you, granddaddy, it's all good. But most people, when they're watching TV, they don't have music on. So get up and just dance in your head, like put some sounds in your head and move around. Get up and move during the commercials or something. You can break the 30 minutes up into 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and 10 minutes there. Your activity really does need to be rigorous in order for it to have some impact in your life. But start small. Maybe you start 5 minutes today. Maybe in 3 days, it pushes up to 10 minutes. Maybe in 2 weeks, it pushes up to 15 minutes. Next week, it pushes up to 20, 25, 30, until you get into a routine of 30 minutes of exercise every day. In order to keep yourself healthy, 30 minutes a day is a small price to pay for your overall health. I'm talking to me just as much as I'm talking to you. I just want y'all to know that y'all just happen to be listening in to me fussing at myself. But yes, you all, let's get fit, let's get active, okay? I'm pretty sure you can find some online videos to help support you in your activity. You're being active, you're doing some jazzercise or aerobics or whatever. I'm pretty sure that you can find some exercise videos online that motivate you and keep you energized and wanting to move, okay? So stay active, get active, get active, get active, get active, get active, get active. All right. Limit your alcohol intake, you all. If you are a drinker, if at all possible, decrease your alcohol intake. It is okay. So one study found that women who had 2 to 3 alcoholic drinks a day, that's a lot of alcohol. But anyway, no judgment, no judgment. But a study found women who had 2 to 3 alcoholic drinks a day had a 20% risk, a 20% higher risk of developing breast cancer. So you all, then compared to women who don't drink, let me make sure I add that in. Compared to women who don't drink, that 20% chance. So if at all possible, decrease your alcohol. If you're taking 3 drinks a day, work on 2, and then get down to 1, and then get down to 0 until you can get to, maybe you just drink it maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks, and then, once every 3 weeks, once every month, once every 2 months, until you can hopefully eliminate that alcoholic drink out of your diet. I'm not saying don't drink alcohol together, that's between you and your medical care professional and, the Lord. Do you, but to decrease your chance for breast cancer, let's try to limit this alcohol intake, okay? And since I said that, I'm gonna take a drink. I got my scarpinol. It's alcohol free. All right. Well, if you just joined in, put in the chat what you're sipping on tonight. I'm sipping on my non-alcoholic scarpinol from Dublin Winery. That's what I got tonight. So I'm gonna take a sip. Oh, that's good. All right. I'm eating. I meant to bring my plate over. See, I forgot to bring my books over. I forgot to bring my plate over. I might go get my plate though. But look, y'all, increase your fruits and vegetables intake. Y'all, my niece and nephew, the 2 niece and nephews have been with me the longest. Them little jokers did not like to eat vegetables growing up. So this is what I did. I was like, Auntie, gonna fix y'all not eating meat until you eat these vegetables off this plate. You don't want to eat your vegetables, you ain't gonna eat the meat. I promise you won't waste away. You will not waste away. I would have them eat their vegetables before they could get meat, because I would give them their plate and they would eat all the meat and no vegetables. Not in Auntie's house. Like Big Mama say, not in Big Mama's house, not in Auntie's house, Y'all, one time I made some cauliflower. Well, I didn't make it. It came already like this, but I prepared cauliflower with cheese sauce. And it was some good, nice, thick cheese sauce. And so I gave it to the kids. My nephew, the one that's been with me the longest, he was like, "Oh, God," who said, "Oh, Auntie, this is some good mac and cheese." I said, "Yes, it is." This line, but yeah, it sure is. Yes, it is. I never did tell him he was eating broccoli because I know he would have stopped eating. But we need to increase our fruit and vegetable intake. So it's been a long time since I've looked at my plate. So my plate lets you know the recommended fruits and vegetables, feed, proteins, grains, not breads, but grains that you should have. I used to teach this in the classroom every single year during nutrition week, but I've been out of the classroom for a couple of years. And so I don't remember the recommended daily allowance, of fruits and vegetables, but you should eat no more. Your plate should be no more than meat on your plate should be no more than your fist. Okay, if you have more meat, like if you have this much meat, I'm gonna do my bull city, right? If you have about this much meat on your plate, that's too much meat. Your vegetables and fruit should look like this. Like your round plate, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. The other one, the other fourth, I can't remember, and then the other fourth is meat. Okay, fruits and vegetables should be half your plate. If it's not fruits, just all vegetables. So I normally don't eat fruit with my meals, but I'm gonna have me some vegetables. Now I love vegetables. I'm gonna have me some vegetables. Half your plate should be vegetables. Don't be making no half plate of meat and a fourth of a plate of vegetables. Don't do it. Don't do it. My family, we carnivores up in here. We meat eaters. So I have tried to go without meat. They just didn't work. Y'all pray for me here. But I have decreased my meat intake. Increased fruits and vegetables, y'all. Studies have shown that eating fruits and vegetables may slightly decrease, it does say slightly decrease, your risk of some breast cancers, okay? But y'all, eating fruits and vegetables is an overall benefit for us, not just for breast cancer, but for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for whatever other illnesses you have, because fruits and vegetables are high in the nutrients and vitamins that we need. If you're taking vitamin supplements, then that's all right. But if you can get those vitamins in your fruit and your vegetables, that's a whole lot healthier than taking a man-made supplement. I'm just saying. It is recommended to eat produce that's high in carotenoids, the natural orange red food pigments found in melons, found in carrots, sweet potatoes, and squash. Y'all, I love carrots. I love cooked carrots. Like, I'm surprised I don't have any in the house right now. Probably it's been a few weeks since I've cooked. I will get me a bag of the small raw carrots that you're supposed to like eat with some dip. I will put them bad boys in a pot on my stove, add me some cinnamon in them bad boys, and it is delicious. I also love roasting carrots. Like, I love vegetables. I very rarely have like a vegetable plate, but oftentimes, sometimes every now and then, I would say every now and then, I'll have just a vegetable plate, but I gotta have me a little bit of me, look at this chicken or something on that plate with the vegetables. But I do love vegetables. But again, those orange red food pigments are best for you. It's recommended because they have the carotenoids in it. Studies also show women with high blood levels of carotenoids, yes, get my enunciation correct. Carotenoids is how you pronounce it, carotenoids. They do have a decreased risk of breast cancer. So get you some melons, get you some carrots, get you some sweet potatoes, get you some squash, okay? I don't eat sweet potatoes often, just during the holidays. I probably should do better with sweet potatoes, but I usually just get them during the holidays. But yeah, eat your fruits and vegetables. I am really going slow. Like, I need to speed up because I got a lot of information to give y'all. So I need to speed up my conversations and things. Even my notes say that the fruits and vegetables are better than supplements, and they are, because supplements are man-made. Like, if I can get some cabbage, some collard greens, some corn, some squash out of the earth, like out of the earth that God made, like, naturally grown, then that is so much better than getting anything processed, anything packaged, and then anything man-made like supplements. And I do remember, like, a couple of years back asking my doctor about taking supplements, like vitamin supplements. And she was like, it's better for you to get them in their naturally occurring environment, which is straight from the ground that God created it. He created it to be that way. Because Adam and Eve, they were still in the ground to eat their food. They didn't have processed food in the Bible days. And even in the early days, they grew fruits and vegetables. I grew up with my grandparents growing fruits, some fruits, but we mainly grew vegetables. We had collard greens, corn, snap peas, and I think we had green beans, watermelon. I don't think we didn't have any strawberries, but we had some watermelon. I think watermelon was the only fruit that we had. Did we have anything else? I can't remember if Grandma and Granddaddy grew collards. I feel like we did have some collards out there, and it could have been some other vegetables that I can't remember. But yes, I grew up growing vegetables in the garden. We would go down, Granddaddy would till the ground. We, dig the hole with the handle of the hoe, put that hole in. One person Granddaddy mainly did the holes. Sometimes I will put the seeds in, or mom or grandma, one of the children will put the seeds in. But I love dropping the seeds. Sometimes I love watering. Put your hole, you drop the seeds, put your water, and you got to pat that dirt over. I love growing my own fruits and vegetables, like my own vegetables. And like I said, we have watermelon. And I have been wanting to put a vegetable garden here. I just haven't taken the time to do it. Like I have a plot of land. I just need to actually, get out there and do it. So anyway, fruits and vegetables, increase your fruits and vegetables is so much better to have. And if you can prevent, you also, I know, like I like salads. But the last salad I did like about 5 or 6 bowls of salad, or containers of salad, because my containers are square. And some of them are round. Anyway, it's better to make your salads fresh instead of getting them in a bag, because even in the midst of them being in that bag, somebody had to chop that lettuce, somebody had to chop the carrot, somebody had to chop the purple lettuce. Like it had to be processed before it got to that bag. So there were some things happening before it got into the bag to get to you. It's just better to get, some fresh spinach, some fresh lettuce, some fresh tomatoes. Like it's best to get everything fresh yourself, chop it up, and make your own salads. Okay, it's just better that way. Food prep is what it's called. It's just better that way and healthier that way. Limit your saturated and trans fats. Okay. A study, well, I don't want to say the study, because if they did a study of white women, and that's not going to help me because I'm not a white woman, praise the Lord. So I'm just going to say that limit your trans fats and your saturated fats. There are healthy unsaturated fats that you can eat, such as nuts, seeds, olives, using canola oil, eating avocado, and fatty fish. Y'all, I have had avocado sometimes from my family when they come. I don't think it's a favorite of my family, but I love eating avocado on my chicken burgers. I love eating avocado just as a fruit, right? I will chop it up and eat it right by itself. My friend Selena actually turned me on to avocado. Like I've always loved like some guacamole, but I've never like purchased or had avocado for myself at the house. And I would eat it sometimes at her house. And I was like, I like this. And so I started buying avocado. I need to get some now because my last one was like 2 weeks ago. So anyway, eating your avocados, fatty fish, using canola oils, olive and canola oil, not together, but just olive oil, canola oil for your cooking, nuts and seeds. And y'all be careful with the nuts and seeds, because sometimes we can overeat those nuts and seeds. So just watch your intake, okay, of those unsaturated fats. Don't smoke. If you have not started smoking, if you never smoked, don't pick up a cigarette. I know some people might make you want to pick up a cigarette, but don't pick up a cigarette. If you are currently a smoker, if at all possible, I know it is a horrible habit to break. I shouldn't say it's a horrible habit, so I don't want to be judgmental. It is a hard habit, is what I should say. I've been told it's a hard habit to break, that nicotine is up in there. And so if you can try to stop smoking, use like ask your healthcare professional, your doctor, how to help support you in decreasing your smoking, and then hopefully eliminating it, and he or she can give you some information about how to do that. Okay, so reach out to your healthcare professional to help you stop smoking. Not only does it help with breast cancer, lung cancer, throat cancer, like smoking can cause other health impairments, or I shouldn't say health impairments, but other health issues or illnesses. Okay, so tobacco smoke, listen to this, you all, I did not know this. Tobacco smoke has at least 250 harmful substances. 250, you all. Now, we used to pick tobacco. I ain't gonna say we, because I didn't do it, but I'm talking about my family. We as a, used to pick tobacco, right? I think granddaddy, not my granddaddy, but my granddaddy's dad, so my great granddaddy, I believe he used to, I don't know if Granddaddy Edgar used to grow tobacco or not. I'll have to ask my mom. Or if he used to like dry out tobacco for cigarettes. But I don't know. I'll have to ask mom. But that is a memory is coming back about tobacco in the family, with great granddaddy. So anyway, I'll ask my mom and maybe update y'all later. I don't know. But anyway, try not to smoke. 250 harmful chemicals are in tobacco smoke, and at least 69 of which have been known to cause cancer. So 69 of the 250 have been known to cause cancer. So if at all possible, don't smoke. Not smoking does reduce the risk of breast cancer, in particular in premenopausal. I can't get my words right tonight. Premenopausal women, okay? Studies have shown that it also lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes and ovarian cancer, okay? Not smoking lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes and ovarian cancer, and it does reduce the risk of breast cancer, okay? Limit your hormones. If you are taking like menopausal hormonal therapy, talk to your medical professional about that and ask them what are the cancer risks associated with that. Have that conversation with them. Ask them for some literature so that you can read about it for yourself and get educated for yourself. And just try to limit that if at all possible, because it will reduce the risk of breast cancer. Okay. All right. Well, I'm trying. It's almost an hour, and I'm still in breast cancer for the women. I'm gonna try to speed it up, y'all. So, signs and symptoms of breast cancer. Again, know the shape of your breast. You'll know if there's a growth or a lump that's there that shouldn't be there, that wasn't there yesterday or the week before. All right. So these are some of the warning signs. If you have any of these warning signs, talk to your healthcare professional, reach out to your doctor so that they can get you an appointment. You can get in and see what's going on with your breast, okay? If it's a lump, a hard knot, or thickening inside the breast or the underarm. Remember, I told you when you do your breast exam, you feel the whole breast all the way up, to the nipple, out to the nipple. And then you also feel your underarm right here by your shoulder, all under your underarm for any changes or any changes in shape, size, any growths, any lumps. Make sure that you're doing that every single month, you all. So just if there's a lump, a hard knot, or thickening inside the breast or the underarms, it could be a sign of breast cancer. Nipple discharge, that's what I had. I actually had nipple discharge along with the lump, because at that time, I did not know that little knot on me was not cancerous. So I had the little lump, the little knot in my breast, and the discharge. So I went to the health clinic and they sent me to the hospital to get checked out. If you have swelling, warmth, redness, or darkening of the breast, change in the size or shape of the breast, dimpling or puckering of the skin, itchy, scaly, sore, or rash on the nipple or other parts of the breast are pulled in so it turns inward, nipple discharge that begins suddenly, and mine was like suddenly, I don't even know where it came from. And if there's new pain in one spot that does not go away, it's a possible sign that breast cancer could be there. So again, reach out to your healthcare professional if you are experiencing any of these signs and symptoms. Okay. Even if you're experiencing one or two, reach out anyway, because I'm just under the thought that it's better to be safe than sorry. I'd rather go ahead and get it checked out and breast cancer eliminated than to let that pain or lump or whatever go for a long time without being checked, because it could potentially be breast cancer. And the quicker that it's detected, the quicker it can be treated. Okay, so if you have those warning signs, seek professional help. I do want to mention metastatic breast cancer. So metastatic breast cancer is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of your body. This is usually a stage 4 cancer. It is the most advanced breast cancer there is. The breast cancer has spread to nearby lymph nodes, to other parts of the body. Excuse me, let me read it how it's written. It's metastatic breast cancer. It's breast cancer that has spread beyond the breast and nearby lymph nodes to other parts of the body, like I mentioned, commonly in the bones, in the lungs, in the brain, or the liver. Okay. All right. So that's information about breast cancer for women. I want to talk about breast cancer for men. There is one out of every 100 case is breast cancer in men. Okay. So men, check your chest as well. Okay. the church that I visited on Sunday, their pastor, they celebrated Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The congregation was wearing pink, and they gave out gifts to breast cancer survivors, and then they gave out gifts to all the women that were there. It was really nice. They had just like a short ceremony to honor those breast cancer survivors and just to remember those who have passed away. But the pastor, before he preached, he said he found a lump in his chest area, and he actually went to the breast. I don't know. He didn't. I don't know which. Yeah, he did say the breast cancer clinic. Yes, I think he went to his doctor, and he said that they sent him to the breast cancer clinic because he was like, the cancer clinic is not made for women, for men. Excuse me, it's not made for men, because he was saying he was the only man there, and all the women were looking at him like he must be there with his wife or girlfriend or maybe mom or sister or something. He was there, but he was really there for himself to get checked out. And he did get checked out, and it was non-cancerous. Whatever was happening, I don't think he gave those details, but there was a concern. And he even said that when they sent him the results, that said Mrs. and what his name was. They didn't even address him as a Mrs. So he was like, this is just not set up to support me. And he's probably right, but I appreciated him sharing that testimony, because 1 in every 100 cases of breast cancer, it is a male diagnosis, it's a diagnosis of a male. Okay, so look, men. So the types of breast cancers that are found in women are the same that are found in men. Okay, so symptoms pretty much the same: lump or swelling in the breast, redness or flaky skin in the breast, irritation or dimpling of breast skin, nipple discharge, pulling in of the nipple, or pain in the nipple area. Those symptoms can happen. It could be another condition. If you find those symptoms, it could be another condition, but it could be breast cancer. So men, go to your healthcare professional, reach out to your doctor so you can get an appointment, get in so that you can get checked to hopefully eliminate breast cancer. Okay. Some of the risk factors for men include getting older, just like me, and just like for women, just getting older. Most breast cancer cases that are found in men is men over 50. So if you're over 50, take some care in knowing your breast, knowing your chest, and knowing the feel and the shape and the size. So if anything looks abnormal, you can reach out to your doctor. Okay. So getting older, genetic mutations is a possible risk for men, such as the BRCA1 and the BRCA2. Those are gene mutations that could increase the risk of cancer in men. A family history of breast cancer. If a close family has breast cancer, it is possible a man can get that as well. Also, men who have had radiation therapy to the chest, you have a higher risk of breast cancer. If you have hormonal therapy treatment, very similar to women, if you have had hormonal therapy treatment, that it does increase your chance. Let me make sure I'm reading this right. Yes, it does increase your chance of breast cancer. Okay, so some hormonal therapies like used to treat prostate cancer, or hormone that helps develop and maintain female sex characteristics for men who decide they want to be women. You do increase your chance of getting breast cancer with those hormone therapy treatments, which include drugs that contain estrogen, like for the sex change. You do increase your chance of breast cancer risk. Okay. Oh, it's noted that estrogen, drugs containing estrogen was used to treat prostate cancer in the past. Okay. Don't know what they're doing now, but that treatment increased the risk of, getting breast cancer in men. So again, that hormone therapy treatment. The Klinefelter syndrome, which I had never heard of before, but the Klinefelter syndrome is a rare genetic condition in which a male has an extra X chromosome. Okay, that extra X chromosome can lead to higher levels of estrogen, which could increase the risk of a man getting breast cancer. Okay. Oh, being overweight and obese, we talked about that BMI and those risk factors. Okay, those are some risk factors for men. Okay. So getting older, genetic mutations, family history of breast cancer, radiation therapy treatment, hormone therapy treatment, Klinefelter syndrome, which is an extra X chromosome. I've heard of the extra X chromosome, but did not know it was called Klinefelter syndrome. Liver. Oh, I didn't. I said overweight and obesity, but I forgot two. I forgot two risk factors for you men. Liver disease. So cirrhosis of the liver can lower androgen levels and raise estrogen levels in men, and that does increase your chance of breast cancer. Also, certain conditions that affect your testicles can also increase the risk for breast cancer, such as injury to, swelling of, or surgery of the testicle area. Okay, it can increase your risk for breast cancer. And I think that is all. That is all I want to say about breast cancer. So you all, again, check your breasts, know your breasts, be familiar with your breasts, make your breasts your best friends. So if something is abnormal, you can address that with your doctor. Okay. Oh, so thank you, Uncle Darnell. So Uncle Darnell said, Granddad, which is my great granddaddy, he grew about 4 acres of tobacco every year. Okay, I do remember because I felt like I've heard my family, especially granddaddy, talk about his daddy having tobacco. So yeah, they growing tobacco. Thank you, Uncle Daniel, for that. I knew somebody somebody in the family that was watching would know that. All right, so thank you for that. All right, so y'all, if y'all have any questions about breast cancer awareness, put them in the chat. Maybe it's some information that I have and maybe left out. Or at least I can find the information and put the link in the description. Okay, all right, so let's get into Domestic Violence Awareness Month, or Domestic Violence Awareness information. So I want to tell you just a few facts about domestic violence. Domestic violence occurs in about 41% of women and 26% of men. This is a roundabout figure, about 41% of women, 26% of men have experienced contact with sexual violence, some type of violence, sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner, and actually reported an intimate partner violence related impact during their lifetime. Okay, whether that's a was injury, whether that was post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, symptoms of PTSD, concerns for their safety, fear or needing help from law enforcement, you all. Also, there have been impacts of missing days, 1 or more days from work due to domestic violence. Over 61 million women and over 53 million men have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lifetime. This actually, this number surprised me with men because I didn't realize that there were so many, women who were abusers, and so 61 million men and, 61 million women and 53 million men would have experienced some type of psychological aggression in their lifetime. All right, so let's talk about, I got a few more for you all. So about 1 in 3 women and about 1 in 4 men have reported having experienced severe physical violence from an intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 men. Y'all, that's a lot. About 1 in 5 women and 1 in 13 men have experienced contact sexual violence from an intimate partner. 14% of women and 5% of men report having been stalked by an intimate partner. You all, domestic violence is real, it's real, it's real. So let's talk a little bit more about it. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about how we can help a friend, family member, loved one that we feel might be involved in a domestic violence situation. So the information from before came from a few different websites. I'll add them to the description. This information that I'm starting with comes from the National, I wrote it down on another page. The National Domestic Violence Hotline. Okay, so domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to maintain power or control over another intimate partner. So domestic violence can happen in marriages, in intimate relationships, romantic relationships like boyfriend and girlfriend, fiance, any type of romantic relationship. Domestic violence, that's what it's classified as in a romantic domestic violence. Occurs in like an intimate or a romantic relationship. So let me stick with the intimate. A lot of it talks about an intimate relationship as opposed to a romantic relationship. So let me stick with the terminology that the professionals use. Okay. So domestic violence can be classified as physical abuse, like being hit, slapped, punched, pinched, biting, pulling hair, even denying a partner medical care or forcing them to use alcohol or drugs. That's physical abuse. Sexual abuse is coercing or attempt to coerce sexual content or sexual activity without your consent. Okay, this could okay, excuse me, I had to take a sip. This could include, but is not limited to, marital rape. And yes, you all, rape can happen within a marriage. If your spouse says no, then that no means no. Just because they're your spouse don't mean they have to give you permission to have sex with them. So marital rape, attacks on sexual parts of the body, forcing sex after physical violence has occurred, or treating one in a sexual demeaning manner. Okay, so sexual abuse is considered domestic violence. Emotional abuse, undermining an individual's sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Okay, like telling you're ugly, you're stupid, you never amount to anything, your cooking is bad, you don't do anything right. Those are some signs, even though that's verbal abuse, but that verbal abuse, certainly, did I get verbal abuse in here? I didn't. But that verbal abuse can actually lead to emotional abuse, because if you hear negative words about yourself for so long, then it can turn into like you being in emotional distress. Okay. So anything that threatens your self-esteem and your self-worth is emotional abuse. Okay. Criticism, like I just shared, diminishing one's ability, calling you names, or damaging your relationship with your kids can be considered emotional abuse. Verbal abuse was not mentioned, so I don't know. It wasn't mentioned in this article, but to me, verbal abuse is a type of domestic violence, because again, that verbal abuse, like that diminishing one's ability, that constant criticism, name calling, all that's verbal, which leads to the emotional. Economic abuse. We talked a little bit about this last week when my mom asked me what's like one of the number one reasons women stay, and she was referring to the service that I went to when women were talking about being set free from or getting out of domestic violence situations. So based on that service that I went to, she asked what was the number one reason the women say, and most of the women there said money. They say because they did not have money to get out of that relationship for themselves, those who were single, and then, for themselves and their children. They just didn't have the money to do so. So economic abuse includes controlling or restraining a person's ability to acquire, use, or maintain economic resources. I told y'all about the kitty. Told y'all about that last week. Y'all get last week's episode and listen about the kitty. Okay. This could include coercion, manipulation to restrict a person's access to money, credit, financial information, coercion, fraud, exerting undue influence over a person's financial and economic behavior or decisions, including forcing default on a joint or like a joint loan or other financial obligations, exploiting powers of attorney or guardianship, conservatorship, or failing or neglecting to act in the best interest of a person to whom one has a fiduciary duty to. That's your spouse. You have a fiduciary responsibility to your spouse and to your kids. Okay, so if your spouse or your intimate partner is withholding money from you, or they're causing you to default on a loan, or they're coercing you to take out a loan that you don't want to take out, that's economic abuse. Okay, y'all better keep you a kitty. Okay, psychological abuse. The elements of psychological abuse include threatening physical harm to their self or to their partner or to the kids, fear by intimidation, even threatening physical harm to like a family member or a friend. That's psychological abuse. You know, if you don't get yourself together, I'm gonna take these kids from you, or I'm gonna harm these kids, or I'm gonna go after your mama or your daddy. You might want to forcing isolation from one's family and from one's friends. That's psychological abuse. Destruction of a person's property, that intimate partner's property, or the pets, like killing or harming the pets. That's all psychological abuse. Y'all, I'm gonna just tell y'all. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm an auntie, I'm a niece, I'm a cousin. And I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay, technological abuse. Okay, so technological abuse was something new for me as far as it relates to like signs of abusive behavior. But technological abuse is an act or pattern of behavior that is intended to harm, threaten, control, stalk, harass, impersonate, exploit, extort, or monitor another person that occurs using technology, which makes sense in our technological world. So there are ways that you can monitor somebody's computer use. I don't know how to do it because I'm not a computer expert, but there are ways that an intimate partner can monitor their intimate partner's use of websites and such. They can you can monitor your intimate partner's phone usage or who they're texting, who they're calling. So there are ways that abusive intimate partners do that to control or exert power over their intimate partner. Okay, that's called technological abuse. Stalking you, sending you text messages, calling, emailing y'all. Ooh, child. Using a mobile device, using cameras, using like social media platforms or other online spaces, using imaging programs, apps, location tracking devices, which I know you can do that on your phone, but some people keep up with their kids that way, or any type of other communication technologies. All of that is technological abuse. The way, so I gave you the definition at the beginning about like a person, the partner, the intimate partner wants to exert power or control over another person, over their intimate partner. I sat and thought about that, which I knew that was the case when I actually read it and got to thinking about it in preparation for Sip and Say with Stephanie. I thought about myself. I do good to keep myself together. I do good to keep myself from, let me just say it like this. I do good to keep myself in peace and in line and following God's principles and following the ways of the Bible and living out my faith walk and my Jesus lifestyle. I do good to keep Stephanie in line. It's a full-time job with good benefits. I don't have time to be exerting no power or control over nobody else. Like, I don't have time to be worried about what you're doing or what you got going on and trying to tell you what to do, trying to keep up with where you going, well, where you going, well, what time you gonna get there, what time you coming home, like get the dishes done, who has time? Like to me, being an abuser has got to be exhausting. Because who has time? Like, I know it happens 1 in 4. What was the statistics? 1 in 4 women 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men, report having experienced severe physical violence from an intimate partner in their lifetime. Like I do good to keep myself together. I ain't got time to be exerting power or authority over nobody else. But it happens. I feel like insecurity is one. I do have some reasons why, but I think insecurity is one of the main reasons why men or women abuse an intimate partner. Like they're just insecure. Could be that they see you being successful, they don't have much going on, and so they want to keep that foot on your neck. They want to keep you down, keep you in a diminished state where you depend on them. Like it's a trip. It's a trip. Y'all got to be really careful who we get in relationship with. We just have to be discerning and careful, and listen to our family and friends, because our family and friends know us better than that partner, that person that we just met. So just listen out. Okay, let's look at some common signs of abusive behaviors in a partner. I didn't know that was next, but it is next. Telling you that you never do anything right. That's a red flag. If you're in a relationship with somebody and they always talking about what you doing wrong, that's a red flag that this is a domestic violence situation and could potentially get worse. Showing extreme jealousy of your friends, especially when you spend time with your friends. You got girls' night out. We're getting away from the intimate partner and from the kids. We're going to the movies or out wherever we're going. We're going to hang out. And your intimate partner does not like that. They're jealous of that. That is a red flag of a domestic violence situation. Your girlfriend or spouse, your intimate partner, your guy, your intimate partner don't want you hanging out with the fellas. Like we're going to golf, or we're going to the basketball game, or we just going out to hang out at the restaurant, chill. If they don't want you to do that, if that female intimate partner doesn't want you to do that, red flag that it could be a domestic violence situation. Preventing or discouraging you from spending time with your family or friends. If they isolate you, it is a domestic violence situation, because they want to get you by themselves so that the only voice you hear is their voice. Their voice has complete control over your life. Child, let me just tell y'all, my family can tell y'all about me. I am not going to tell y'all about me. If the Lord ain't told you, then it's all good. You don't need to know. Praise God. So insulting, demeaning, or shaming you, especially in front of other people, that is a red flag to a domestic violence situation. Controlling the finances in your household without discussing. You taking money from the joint bank account. We trying to pay the mortgage and you done took money out of the joint bank account. I'm trying to get some new clothes for this child. This child growing like a weed. Got to get some new clothes, new shoes for them. And I don't have access to the money because you done taken it out and bought you a sports car or whatever. That's a sign of a domestic violence situation. And I'm not talking about one thing. I'm just talking, some ongoing things, especially when it relates to this financial. But if he or she is controlling all the money, that's a big sign. It's a big sign now. Pressuring you to have sex or to perform sexual acts that you're not comfortable with, that is a red flag to a domestic violence situation. Intimidating you through their looks or through their actions, like looking at you in a threatening way, or having some threatening actions towards you, like jumping at you or something like that, that's a red flag. Insulting your parenting skills or threatening to harm the children or take the children away, that is a sign of a domestic violence situation. Y'all can even put here if they're threatening to harm or take away the pets, because some people treat their pets like their children. So if they're threatening to do that, it is potentially a domestic violence situation. Intimidating you with weapons like a knife or a gun, with mace, with a knife, with even animals like a rat or something like that, intimidating you with those things is red flag to a domestic violence situation. Destroying your belongings at your house. If he's destroying your clothes, your shoes, your makeup, your purses, whatever your belongings are, it is a red flag to a domestic violence situation. If you are under the sound of my voice and you are in that type of situation, I would encourage you to get help. If you can, if it's safe for you, I would encourage you to get some help. All right. There's one thing here that I was reading on the National Domestic Violence Hotline. It was saying to document your abuse. Like if at all possible, if you can journal your abuse, document your abuse, do that in case you need it later for a police report, or whatever else. So like send him or her to jail if that's what you choose to do. So if you can document your abuse. Now I know you may not be able to keep the journal or or the notebook, at your house, but maybe there's a trusted friend or a family member that can keep that for you. And we're gonna look at ways that we can support our family and friends who may be in a domestic violence situation. So, and that's part of it. Maybe they can keep your journal or help you document. Okay, so we'll get there. So on the hotline, there's actually a form that you can fill out. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me hold that out for a second. So documenting the warning signs of dating abuse. Okay. You can keep a journal of what you experienced, how you're feeling, descriptions of what happened, writing down your statements, what your partner said, any witnesses that may have been around. I remember, well, anyway, I'm pressed for time, so I hold it. I was thinking about a movie, watching a domestic violence situation with Aretha Franklin movie, and how there were reporters there, like somebody actually saw her spouse at that time abusing her, and so there were witnesses to that event. Recording dates and times, descriptions of the incident. If there's furniture that's turned over, something was thrown, capture some pictures of that so that you can have that for documentation, potentially for documentation later. Also seeking medical care. There will be, of course, your doctors give you like your medical report. There'll be some information there that you visited, like the emergency room on this date at this time, and that report is there. Also, if you can and if you feel safe, follow a report with the police department. I did have a friend that was in a domestic violence situation that is out. They filed a report. They filed a police report. I said, well, I know that's right. So do whatever and she felt safe to do so. So if you feel safe to do that, and if you can, do that, then file that police report if you can. So a few things that I want us to know. Okay, before I get to the reasons why people stay, I want to look at the people who actually abuse. Okay, so the abusers. We talked about them wanting to maintain power and control over their abusive partner. Sometimes abusive partners or abusive people, they believe that they have the right to control over you. They have the right to restrict your movement or to restrict those finances. We're married. I can do what you. Some people think that about their kids. Some parents think that because they birth kids or because they have kids, that they can treat them kids any kind of way they want. I put a roof over your head. I put food on the table. I give you clothes and shoes. I ought to be able to treat you any way I want to treat you. The devil is a liar. And there are abusive people that think that I got a right to treat you like I want to treat you. You my wife. Yeah, you're gonna do what I say. Yeah, it's gonna be my way or the highway type of a situation. So some of them feel like they have the right to do it. And this is often because they believe their own feelings and needs should be priority in the relationship. They don't care about you. They believe that they are number one in the relationship. They should be the priority. Don't nobody care. I'm gonna say how I feel. Like, screw your feelings. This is all about me. Some people feel that way. And so they feel like they should be number one, like king of the castle. So they feel like their own feelings and needs should be priority, or because that exerting that power or that authority, excuse me, they enjoy exerting that power and authority. Like it boosts them up some kind of way because they insecure. That insecurity is present, and they feel the only way they can feel powerful or like they are somebody is to put you down. I also want to note that abusive is a learned behavior. Some people have witnessed abuse in their family growing up. There are others learn it from society or learn it from their friends or learn it because it's part of the culture. Um, yeah, and they just pick it up and decide like, oh, I like that. Let me just try that with my intimate partner. You can go one or two ways. They might strike back or whatever. I'm just saying. Um, yeah, so those are a few reasons why abusers abuse. Sometimes drugs and alcohol addiction can be a factor in abuse and can also escalate abuse. So if you can, try not to be involved with somebody who's a drinker or an addict. All right. All right. So those are just a few reasons why people abuse. And y'all, it's so with children, man, I don't want children to think that that's normal. That it's normal for a man to put his hands on a woman or verbally abuse her or emotionally abuse her. And I don't want daughters to think that this is the type of relationship that's normal. Ain't nothing normal about a domestic violence situation. It's not normal. We just again have to be very careful who we attach ourselves to, who we allow to become intimate with us, who we allow to be our intimate partner. We have to be very, very careful. Okay. So these are a few reasons why women stay in abusive relationships. Fear, because fear of the consequences if you leave, because there are often times that abuser, some kind of way, finds the woman or the man that they were abused. So fear of the consequences, like if they leave, or if they, kind of like, take up for themselves, there's that fear. Then I'm gonna take a sip of water. Abuse is normalized. They saw it growing up, in their household with maybe their aunt, uncle, grandparents, not only in their own household with their parents or step parents or guardians, but they saw abuse in other areas in their family or with friends of the family. And it became their picture of how relationships should be. So normalized abuse. Shame. And there are women, because I have some loved ones that have been involved in domestic violence situations. And one common word that they use is they feel ashamed. So shame. And I'm gonna read what this says so that we can understand this. It can be difficult for someone to admit that they've been or are being abused. They may feel that they've done something wrong, that they deserve the abuse, or that experiencing abuse is a sign of weakness. Remember that blame shifting is a common tactic that their partner may use and can reinforce a sense of responsibility for their partner's abusive behavior. So be careful. If you feel like one of your family friends, your family members, or a friend, loved one is being abused, just be mindful of how you engage with them because we never know what we say can trigger that person. I've been very mindful of that, just with people that I know, because I don't want to trigger anything that their intimate partner has said to them or done to them. So I've been very mindful, about things, or at least I've tried my best, to be mindful about that. So shame, intimidation. A survivor may be intimidated into staying in the relationship by verbal threats or physical threats. Low self-esteem. After you have heard that you ugly, you ugly, you ugly, you ugly, you dumb, you stupid, you never do anything right. After you've heard that enough, you can begin to believe that. And so it can definitely decrease your self-esteem and your self-worth. Um, Lack of resources. We talked about those lack of resources, those funding. Get y'all a kitty. I'm telling you, put you a little bit of money aside, if someone has a disability, people who have disabilities may become a target for domestic violence. And so if you have that disability or that need for that support, the abuser can use that against you and make it seem like you're the only one that the abuser will make the abusee feel like they're the only ones that can help them or support them or provide for them. Okay. So sometimes having a disability could be a factor to a person staying in an intimate relationship where domestic violence is your immigration status, because your abuser can threaten you with turning you in, turning you into the immigration authorities. And so, yeah, yeah. Especially for those illegal immigrants, or and they're not illegal immigrants. So I don't want to say that. Undocumented individuals. I want to be respectful of these persons because they are human beings. And so these undocumented individuals may have limited English, and that abusive partner uses that to their advantage, to again exhibit that control and that power over them. A cultural context, traditional customs or beliefs in one's culture. And there is more information about that on the website that I did. It was a lot of information. You can go back and read it for yourself once I put the links under. You can, National Domestic Abuse Hotline. But cultural context, like I don't remember learning in my family anything about um, like the man. I learned that the man is the head of the household, and I read that in the Bible. But we were never told that, or never taught or told that the man should exert total power, total authority over the family. That just didn't happen. That, like, we weren't taught that or told that. So I knew if I got married, it's just going to be an equal partnership up in this piece. It's going to be equal partnership. And so even watching the marriages in my family, for the most part, well, I'll say watching my uncles with their spouses, I felt like if I got married, it would have to be a man like my granddad or like my uncle, in terms of how they provided for their family, how they engage with their spouse. Like, I don't remember any of my uncles ever yelling at their spouse, or any type of negativity going on with them. I did not see that growing up. I'm just saying what I saw. I didn't see that growing up. I saw them taking care of their families. There was a thing here or there, but marriage and relationships in general. So again, cultural context. So we weren't taught. So again, in my family, we weren't taught about, like, the man should be the head. Like, woman, you do everything your husband tell you to do, regardless of what it is. We didn't have those type of teachings or anything like that in my family. So I knew I was going to have a healthy relationship if I got married. Even if it didn't start off healthy, we was going to end healthy. That type of way. So there could be some cultures where what the man says goes, and there's no discussion. There's no compromise. There's no conversations. There's no we sit down and we do this together. There's none of that. That man is the head, and that's the way it goes. And there could be some cultures where the woman is the head. What the woman say goes. What that mama say in that household, that's what it is. And so cultural context could be a reason why some women stay in abusive relationships, or why some men stay in abusive relationships. And there it is a possibility that men use the Bible. It's in Corinthians. I can't tell you where right now. I might try to look it up. Where the Bible is it First Corinthians chapter 7. I'm about to look it up right now because I want to know. I think it's Second Corinthians chapter 7, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can find it. Where the Bible tells us, it might be First Corinthians, where the Bible says first, the verse ahead says, submit yourselves one to another, and then under that it says, wives, submit yourselves to your husband. But first it says, submit yourselves one to another. See, the men forget that the Bible says submit to one another first. That's what it say first. But some people will use the Bible, and I'm about to find this scripture. I'm not moving. Oh, I'm not moving until I find it. Where it does say, "Wives, submit yourselves to your husband." And some men take that to mean whatever I tell my wife to do, she better do. That's not what God intended. Um, oh, let me get okay. There we go. Child, I'm trying to talk and type, and I wasn't multitasking well at all. Oh, I had the whole scripture wrong. I don't know why I always say that scripture is in Corinthians. Like every single time I talk about it, I need to get my life right with the scripture. Y'all forgive me, I was in the whole wrong book. It's in Ephesians chapter 5. I don't know, something is in Corinthians. I'm gonna find it. Anyway, let me get the whole book. I don't want just this part. I want the whole book of Ephesians chapter 5. Something is in Corinthians, but I don't know what it is right now. I'm gonna have to go look. I don't be reading no marriage scriptures. I don't have. Y'all can have that. So Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21 says, "Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." 22, "Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord." Verse 23, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior." Verse 24, "Now as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything." So men try to use that scripture to make their wives do whatever they want them to do. But let's read a little further. Chapter 5, verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word." Husbands, Jesus will not abuse his church. So you shouldn't be abusing your spouse or your intimate partner. Yes, I said it on Sip and Say with Stephanie. Nobody should have to endure a life of abuse, whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, where it is a child. No person should have to endure any type of abuse. But I just wanted to read this scripture, not to tell wives submit yourself to your husband. I wanted to read it to let you know that there are some men, and yes, some Christian men, some ministers, some pastors. Yes, I know what I'm talking about, who will use this scripture to try to subjugate his wife to his own will. It's tight, but it's shown enough right. And yes, abuse does happen in the church. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. It sure does. All right. Let me get a few other things. Children. Many survivors may feel guilty or responsible for disrupting the family unit. So because they don't want their son or their daughter or their children to be without that parent, they will stay for the sake of the kids. And what Tina Turner say? "What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion?" Some people stay for the love, y'all. They stay because they are in love with that person. And maybe they have a hope that things will eventually get better. But experiencing abuse and feeling genuine care for a partner who is causing harm are not mutually exclusive. Survivors often still have strong, intimate feelings for their abusive partner. Oh, yeah. So, on the website, it talks about creating so those are some of the reasons why a person would stay, in an abusive relationship. On the website, it does talk about having a safety plan for yourself. I didn't get details because the safety plan is actually on the website, and it takes you through the prompts of creating a safety plan that you can print out and give to your spouse or neighbors or whoever's your safe place, so that they'll know what to do in the event, that the domestic violence situation takes a turn for the worse or worser. It gets a little worser. So I don't know all the details of that plan. When you have access to the website, you can look at it for yourself. But have a safety plan for yourself and for your kids. This is putting me in the mind of. So we had a family friend. Whose husband killed her. And when her husband pulled out the gun, She told her son to run to the neighbors, and he was safe. And her husband, he killed her, and he is serving time in jail. I'm thinking he's still incarcerated. I don't know how many years or what the charge was, or how many years he was given for this crime, but young woman. Um, the son is with his parents because he was a living parent. He had a right to say where his son would go. And so his parents, have raised him and are raising him. So I don't know if that was that family friend. I don't know if that was her plan, um, like if that was a plan her and her son already had in place. But she, he knew, like she told him, to run to the neighbors. And I'm thinking it may have been a plan in place because he knew exactly, he knew what neighbor to go to, and they did call the police and everything. But by the time they got there, uh, so have a safety plan in place. If you have children and things may take a turn for the worse, um, have a plan in place with your neighbors or with family, with people that you can trust that can help you, help your children if need be. Um, I have shared this before, but I have been a safe haven to 2 out of 3 women. There were 3 um, people in my life that I care about, that I love, just throughout my life, that have asked me to be a safe space for them. And if I would do that in the event they needed it. And 2 of them did. They stayed with me, because they knew my home was a safe space. When these individuals asked me, my first question was, "Does your intimate partner know where I live?" They said no, and I knew they probably didn't because they'd never been over before. But I did tell them this. The first 2 were in my 30s, and I said, "Well, if your intimate partner happens to find my address and comes over here," and I told them what I would do, and I let them know what was happening in my home, and so they were aware, and I think they knew enough about me to know. And So yeah, so if you can be a safe haven for an individual experiencing domestic violence, or for their children, or for both, if you're able to do that and willing to do that, then I would encourage you to do it. It felt good to do that. My concern always was like, I'm not playing if that person comes over. I'm not playing, because my home is my place of peace. It's my place of peace. It's my place of peace, and I will not have it disturbed by not nobody. And so, thankfully, those individuals did not come, and I'm free. Praise the Lord. So yeah, y'all, it's if you can be a safe haven, for an individual who's experiencing domestic violence, then be that for them if you're able to. Some other ways that we can support individuals who are in domestic violence situations, we can offer them emotional support. Let me go back to the safety plan. So if you are in a domestic violence situation, get your safety plan in place. Let your children know what they should do if your intimate partner becomes increasingly violent. Either, I don't know if they need to have it written down or whatever the case may be. I know some of us grew up at a time where our parents said, "What goes on in this house stays in this house." I have never been the victim of domestic violence, so I am not telling anybody what to do. But I would encourage you, if you are in a domestic violence situation, I would encourage you, if you feel safe enough to do it, to possibly talk to your child's school, especially if it's a situation where you carpool that child, or if they're in before and after school, and like something happens, and maybe you can't pick them up after school or after school. And the school is wondering like, where are you? Because we about to call social service if a child stays at the school an extended time. That's our duty to do that. But if if the school knows the situation, they may be able to help in other ways, not just if you can't pick them up, but maybe like if that intimate partner is controlling the food, maybe the school can help with a food gift card. Like one of the schools that I used to work at, our assistant principal, she kept grocery store gift cards at her desk for anybody in the school who noticed like a child was hungry, and we reach out to the family, and with their permission, got the food gift card to give to them. Sometimes I think we did one without permission. We just put it in a book bag and send it on home, because some people may not want to accept help, but maybe the school can be a resource for your family if you feel safe and comfortable to share that with them. And if you don't, that's okay too. If you live in an apartment, you know, maybe if you feel like telling your landlord would be beneficial to you, because like maybe your intimate partner who is the abuser, maybe he or she took the money and you're not able to pay the rent that month. But if your landlord knows the situation, he or she or the company, they may be more understanding to that situation. So, if you feel safe, tell people who you feel can offer you some support and some help. Okay, so these are some other things that we can do. I know this has taken a long time, but I feel like this is really important for us to know. And so stick with me if you can. And if not, you can come back to the rebroadcast or to the podcast later. So, if you have a family member, friend, or loved one who you feel is experiencing domestic violence, offer them some emotional support. Do not be judgmental of their decision to stay. Or let me just say it like, don't judge their decision to stay, to leave, or whatever. Just don't be judgmental. Don't criticize them. Don't make them feel guilty. They already feel bad enough. So don't add to that. Okay. So stop being judgmental. Stop being, girl, you need to get out of that situation. Man, why you let that woman beat up on you? Don't do that. Like there's already enough shame and hurt and fear within them without us who are their friend or us who are their family member adding to that. Okay. So let's not be critical. Let's not be judgmental. Remember, this is something that I had to learn. You cannot rescue a person that's in a domestic violence situation. They're going to have to do like the prodigal son. They're going to have to come to themselves and rescue themselves. Okay. Now you can be there for them when they aren't ready to get out, but just know that you can't rescue them. Do not speak poorly of their abusive partner. Like, don't talk about him like a dog. Don't talk about her like a dog. That's the person that they are in this relationship with. So don't speak negatively about them. At least not in front of the loved one. I'm just saying that's definitely talking, but just don't speak negatively about them. Help them to create that safety plan that we were talking about, that plan of action that they'll implement if if it's safe for them to get out, or if the kids need to get out, or whatever the case may be. Help them create that safety plan. Continue to be supportive. If they decide again to end the relationship or stay in the relationship or go back to the relationship after they left, be supportive. Just offer that support. I don't care how you feeling about it or what your thoughts are about it. Just offer support to that individual. Offer to go with them to a service provider, like a medical care professional or social service, or wherever that service provider might be. Offer to go with them to offer that support. Okay. They're trying to get some legal help to get out of, an abusive marriage. Then go with them, if you can. If you're able to, and you can offer some financial support for them, then you can do that if you're able to do that. Okay. Buy some groceries. Even if you don't want them to know, buy some groceries and kind of slip them on the porch, and knock on the door and run. If they don't have a ring or another like what you call it, another the home system devices. Like if they don't have that, they won't see you. But like, just maybe, slip a gift card in their wallet, not their wallet, because you don't want to do that. If y'all are close friends and y'all having a girls' night out or y'all doing something together, they at your house or whatever, slip the gift card in the purse or something, or if you think they won't take it, or maybe let them know it's theirs so their intimate partner won't, take it. But go with them to buy some groceries or something like that. If the kids need a new pair of shoes and you're able to do that, support them financially if you can. Like if you're able to. Help them to identify a support network, a network of support for them, whether that's like medical care professionals, people in their community, again, social services, or the health department. Like if they don't have access to health care and they need that, that help. For them or their children, help them to get access to like Medicaid for the kids, maybe help them to complete the application so their child can have that. So just help them get a network of support for them. And that could include the school or not, just whatever you feel is safe for them and for the family, for them and the children. Um, help them to learn about what their legal rights are. Like if they're married, help them to decipher, to navigate, what are their legal rights as a parent, as a guardian, of the children, if that should be an issue. Help them to navigate their legal rights. In the state of North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year before you can get a divorce. So just help them to understand their legal rights, in the event that they do want to get out. If they give you permission, I think I mentioned this earlier, help them to document the abuse. Maybe y'all are at a bridal shower, or you invited some girlfriends over, or you invited your guy friends over to watch the game, and that intimate partner comes knocking on the door, and if you let them in and they get to acting like they act, if you have permission, document that. Because again, it may support them with the police report. Don't post any information on social media. Like some business just don't need to be put out on social media. Okay. So do not post that your friend or your family member, your loved one, your coworker, even your enemy. Don't be posting, child, you dating that domestic. He beating up on her again. Child, she done knocked him out. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't post any information about that domestic violence situation on social media. Just don't do that. Also, don't post any information about where y'all going. Like if y'all have a girls' weekend away, don't be posting pictures of where y'all at, or what it. Just don't try to refrain from that. I know y'all we want to know we want the world to know what we doing. We got our cute little bathing suit on. We at the beach, or we dressing our, we having drinks over here, or whatever. We want the whole world to see everything. If you know that your loved one is in a domestic violence situation and y'all are out for a weekend or for the evening or for a Saturday afternoon, whatever, just don't post it. Let me make sure I got everything. Oh, and I mentioned this earlier, but and I mentioned this really about the school, about parents who are in a domestic violence situation, to let the school know if you feel safe, if you can do that. Let the landlord know just in case there's some issues there. This is also mentioning about at your workplace, like if you trust your boss or some of your coworkers enough to tell them that you're in this situation, because maybe you need to miss a day or two of work, or maybe the bruises are too much, or or whatever, you all, and you might miss a day or two of work. And if you have repeated absences or being late, then your boss is going to question why. But if they know that you're dealing with this situation, they may be willing to, to work with you about, work with you with the absences and the tardy. Okay. If you trust your coworkers enough to tell you, I'm not enough, or enough to tell them, then, let them know, because it might be a situation where you all are having like a, me and my coworkers would go out, go get something to eat, and there's been a time or two we've sat together to eat, and you might be at a restaurant and the intimate partner might have been following you, whatever, and they come to the restaurant, and if your coworkers know that you're in an abusive situation, and if they see him or if they see her, they can maybe go ahead and alert the restaurant staff or go ahead and dial 911 because they know what's about to happen. But if they don't know, then they're not going to maybe quickly respond to get the help that's needed. And so again, if you feel comfortable to tell your boss, and maybe one or two coworkers that will keep your information unless somebody need to know, you know what I mean? Then do that. All right, I think that's all I have to say about that. Let's just help people. Oh, these are a few good things that I thought were good for me to share, and then I'll be done with this for the most part. Yep, I think I'll be done. So I'm thinking about this from the perspective of an educator because there are things that you can do to support your children as they're growing up. There's conversations that you can have with family members about healthy relationships. Talk to your kids about what a healthy relationship looks like. Teach them about social emotional learning. In pre-K, we teach SEL, social emotional learning. We teach children what their feelings are, what their emotions are, how to identify how they are feeling, what to do after they have identified how they're feeling. I'm angry. Okay, I'm angry and I want to hit somebody, but instead of hitting them, I'm going to use my words. I'm angry that Stephanie took my toy, but instead of hitting Stephanie, I'm going to go to Stephanie and say, I don't like that you took my toy. May I have it back, or I need it back? We teach these skills, social emotion skills, conflict resolution, how to solve problems. We teach these skills in pre-K. I don't know if they taught in K through 12. I'm not there. I'm in pre-K. We teach it there. And so teach your kids at home about their feelings, about their emotions, how to navigate those, what to do about that, how to handle problems within their family, within their school environment, with their teachers, with their classmates, with their intimate partner, their boyfriend and girlfriend at school. Teach this to your children. Don't depend on the school to do everything. You're the parents, you're the child's first teacher, so teach that. Also have conversations about what healthy relationship looks like in the family. Get your aunts and your uncles, get them older cousins together. If your children don't want to listen to you, get them uncles and aunts together and let them have some conversation. Matter of fact, pull up a family night. Everybody in the family, let's have family night. We're gonna talk about what does a healthy relationship look like? How do we build healthy relationships? How do we stay in healthy relationships? What do we do if we see red flags in relationships? Like, have these healthy conversations with your children, with your family members, so that everybody knows what a healthy relationship looks like. And if we see something opposite than a healthy relationship, we know to run the opposite way, or we know to go and support that family member. Okay, so have these conversations. I engage with influential adults and peers. So men and boys can become allies in prevention. Again, get your uncles, get your granddaddy, get your dad, get some men involved to help these young ladies know this is how a man is supposed to treat you. He is not supposed to hit you. He is not supposed to degrade you. He's supposed to respect you. He's supposed to care for you. He's supposed to encourage you. He's supposed to build you up. If there's anything opposite in that, then he's not the one. Move on, Sally, move on. So get some men in your family, especially if it's a case where the father is not present in that male's life or in that female's life. Get the men in your family that you trust and who will be good models for both the female and the male. And talk to your young men. Tell your young men how to treat a woman. Tell them it's not all about sex, and more sex. Tell them how to be respectful to a woman and how to treat her. Okay, how to treat her with respect, how to encourage her, how to build her up, how to lift her up, how to be a partner in the relationship. Okay, how to teach them some doggone communication skills. Don't come to me talking about what's up, baby. The sky is up. Like, who is you talking to? First of all, like that. Teach them to have some good communication skills, both the males and the females. Both all the children in the family. Teach them how to have some good communication skills amongst your family and with other people. Okay. Have some family-based programs. Like, If you don't want your child to join the YMCA or the Big Brothers Big Sisters, get a big brother in your family. Be like, Uncle JoJo, I need you to mentor this son, because if you don't, something gonna happen to him. And I don't want him out of the world, and I don't want to go to jail. So come on, Uncle JoJo, mentor this baby. Come on, Aunt Sally, I need you to help me mentor this daughter child. She off on the rails and I need some help. Like, get some family-based mentorship going on, just with your family. Get, like I said, that uncle, that aunt, that grandparent, that great grandparent, if there's, that cousin, that older cousin, get them to mentor your kids, to offer you support. Not saying that you don't know how to parent or that you're doing parenting wrong. No, but it take a village. The African proverb, it truly takes a village to raise these kids. Okay. So get them a family-based mentorship program or some family-based support. And then if there is some community support, we got Aunties Against Abuse. Come on, y'all can join us for the young ladies. Get you some support in the community. Ladies of Distinction, like Ladies on the Run, Girls on the Run. Like, there are other organizations that you might be able to tap into to offer support to your son or your daughter. But tap into your family first. Tap into your family. Okay. Um, do your best to disrupt the developmental pathways that lead to partner violence. For us as educators, that does start with early learning with the pre-K department. But if you need some help with parenting skills, or you need some parenting classes, or you need whatever type of support in your parenting, talk to those older family members who have had kids. Talk to them about, well, how do I parent this son? How do I parent this daughter? Like, what do I do? What do I teach them? How do I train them? Like, get some support from your family or friends or elders in the community. Like, get you some support, especially if violence is a pattern in your family, whether it's your immediate family or your like whole family. Get some support to hopefully help break that generational curse, break that cycle of create some protective environments. All right. So again, if there's some safety issues going on with your family because of domestic violence, then create some safety networks through your neighbors, through the school, through even community partnerships. Like I said, the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA or other nonprofits that may be able to support your children or support you. Okay. So build those networks, those protective environments, like, like I was like a safe haven for those individuals. Like, just build a network of support for that family member, okay, or for those children. If you can, strengthen the economic support of that family member. I remember I was a couple of years ago, we had a financial workshop just for the Humphrey family. My cousin led that to give us some tools and resources to be healthy in our finances. So teach your children and even have healthy conversations about money with your immediate family and then with your whole family. When I say whole family, like you have your individual family units, and then it's like the whole Humphrey family or Anderson family or whatever. Have some healthy conversations about money in your family. Saving, investing, what does a healthy relationship with money look like for me as an individual? And then what does that look like when I do engage in intimate relationships? What should that look like in that partnership or in that relationship? So have those healthy conversations. Have some money classes, with your kids. Put your kids on a budget if you need to, so that they can develop a healthy relationship with money. Have those conversations, have those trainings, have a family. We're gonna have a financial retreat. Everybody in the Humphrey family, come on, we having a financial retreat. Somebody gonna teach about budgeting. Somebody gonna teach about long-term financial planning. Somebody gonna teach about retirement. Somebody gonna teach you how to teach your kids the budget. But have a whole retreat with your family about finances. So again, they can develop those healthy relationships and that they'll know what unhealthy patterns with money look like. Okay, so that they can recognize it in that potential intimate partner. Okay. And then support survivors to increase their safety and to lessen their harm. Okay, housing through housing programs. If you know of housing programs, you can share with that family member so that they can get out of that relationship, or and stay out of that relationship. And sometimes you go back because of not knowing, not having a place to stay. So there's some victim focused centers that can offer services or support, offer that offer that information to the victim of domestic violence. Um, some support from first responders, maybe the fire department, the police department, get some support for them if you feel safe to do so. And like treatment centers, like PTSD is real even in, with domestic violence situations. So you may have to get some mental health support for them, some counseling services, psychological support. So just those community-based resources or those service provider resources to support those families that are in domestic violence. And you all, not only does the person that is abused need support, but that abuser needs some help too. Like he or she needs some intensive counseling and help as well. So if you can help them, like if that person, sometimes their pride, their arrogance prevents them from admitting that they are an abuser or admitting that they are harming their family or their intimate partner. Um, so you may or may not be able to help them. If you can help them, that's wonderful. They're willing to change, truly change, and that's wonderful. But if they're not, then if you can help the persons that are being abused, do that if it's safe, for yourself and for them to do so. All right, y'all, that's it. I know that took a long time, but I'm about to wrap us up. I hope that you found the information about breast cancer awareness and domestic violence awareness. I hope and pray that you found it useful. Last thing I want to share with you is National Novel Writing Month. You all, I have been able to crank out, I told you all this last week, every single one of my books, except for maybe one or two, I crank them out during National Novel Writing Month. I have released at least one new book every year since 2013. And it's all because of National Novel Writing Month. So National Novel Writing Month is a 501c3 organization. They developed themselves to be like a resource for writers, like resources. Resources for writers. I'll just leave it there. They offer a lot. They released in 1999 as a challenge to write a 50,000 word novel in 30 days. Okay. So National Novel Writing Month happens from November 1st through November 30th. You can sign up on the website. I'll put it in the description once the broadcast is over. You sign up, you get whatever handle you want. Mine is Determined Step. If y'all want to be my friend, I'm Determined Step on the National Novel Writing Month website. And so you just sign up on their site, you set your writing goals, you announce your novel. Maybe you don't have a title for your novel. Maybe you have no idea what you're going to write about. I have November 1st is next Tuesday. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no outline. I have no vision for what I'm about to do. I just released my trilogy October 10th. So I'm done. I am going to write next week, but right now I have not a clue. I have some ideas stirring, but I have not a clue which one I'm going to grab hold to. So you can announce your what you're writing about. You can do a little synopsis on it. You can track your writing goals for November 1st to the 30th. You can get badges like based on what you're doing. It's a whole lot of fun. Like I love National Novel Writing Month. Before the pandemic, I would meet at the library with some of the other, like my fellow NaNoWriMos. We would meet at the library, we would write together, we would talk about our novel, talk about our writing style and our skills. We would also meet in different restaurants around the Triangle area. And we would just get together, we would do word sprints. So word sprints is writing however many words you can in like 2 minutes or like in 30 seconds. How many words can you crank out in 30 seconds? How many words can you crank out in a minute? So those are called word sprints. So we do word sprints, and we still do those. We just do it through our social media platform. And there are virtual write-ins. So you can connect with individuals in your community. You can connect with them and do virtual write-ins, okay? So that you can still have that support. There are some in-person write-ins in our area. You'll just have to check the area that you're in and see what they're doing in your city, in your state, okay, in your country. There is a young writers program for our young scribes that want to be involved in National Novel Writing Month. I'll put that link in the description in case you have some young writers in your family or some that are aspiring to be writers. You can get them involved in the program too, okay? There are also National Novel Writing Month camps that happen throughout the year. So we crank out our 50,000 words in November, but you can participate in camps again throughout the year. Those that word count is usually 35,000. I started off participating in one camp, but didn't stick with it, so it just was what it was. All right, y'all. So I want y'all to write. Don't y'all want to write with me? Yes, say yes. Y'all do want to write with me. If you're an aspiring writer, you want to tell your story, your testimony. You got a Bible study you want to release. You got some children's curriculum. You want to release a children's book, a romance novel, a science fiction novel, a mystery novel. Whatever is in you, write with me. Even if you don't reach the 5,000 words, my first 2 years, I did not get even close to 50,000 words, but I was diligent. Well, I wasn't typing at that time. I was I was writing everything by hand. So I got notebooks where I started writing just everything by hand. Now it depends. Like I started by hand, then I would do a combination of typing and hand. Now it's mostly just by hand, but at the computer, excuse me. I do most of it on the computer. Every now and then I just want to put pen to paper. And so I get pencil to paper. I use a pencil, or I get pencil to paper and just want to do it that way. But if you have ever thought about writing, want to write, want to know what it feels like to write, join me for National Novel Writing Month. I will put the link in the description so that you can join me and just enjoy it's such a joy to write. Like I love writing. I love developing characters. I love seeing who these characters are. I love seeing how their life is going to turn out. I love that the characters talk to me, and they do. When I released my trilogy, that went a whole different way than I thought it was going. That story was written in 2021. Yeah, I think it was written in 2021 and during National Novel Writing Month. But it had been a story that had been brewing for a long time. I didn't realize it was going to turn into a trilogy, but I had one way that was going to end, and it turned out something totally different, and it worked just fine, if I do say so myself. So yes, the characters speak to me and they tell me who they are and what they want to do and the journey that they're going to take. It just is what it is. I am not crazy. I am not mentally ill. I am a writer. I am definitely a writer. So y'all all join me next month, starting November 1st through November 30th. Even if you don't want to join the website platform and you still want to write with me, let me know, because I've thought about doing some write-ins for myself, just to host a few write-ins for individuals who want to join me, and we would just sit together and just write together, just be in the presence of other people who have taken on this great, wonderful, amazing challenge. And we would just be there, to support each other. And so, yeah, y'all, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, do it, do it. All right, y'all, I am truly finished. Women and men, keep a check on your breasts. Individuals who are in domestic violence situations, we pray that you're able to get out safely, and that, that you'll be all right. We just, pray that God will continue to watch over you, and that you be as safe as possible, in that relationship. Okay. And if you're joining me for National Novel Writing Month, I'm excited to have you. All right. All right, y'all. So if you are celebrating Halloween, y'all, if you celebrate Halloween, if you're taking your children trick-or-treating, if you're having Hallelujah Night, if you're having Fall Festival, be safe. Be safe. Be safe. There are some cars, just like some cars still pass a stopped school bus. There are some cars who, may not see the children out. If you can go before it gets dark, go out before it gets dark. If it's dusk or darker, make sure you have some flashlights, some, a tire that has some reflectors on it so that you are seen, because there is an increase in children getting harmed, like by cars and things during Halloween. So just be safe out there, y'all. Be safe, be safe, be safe. All right, y'all. I love you all. I appreciate you so much. I will see you next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. for our Old Testament Bible study. Don't forget to check out my book at determinedpublishing.com. Click trilogy, and it will give you all the information that you need to read my book. Look, y'all, the first 6 chapters are still available for free, but on October, not January, but October 31st is going to be the last day that the first 6 chapters are available for free. After that, you'll be able to read, I think, up to 4 chapters on Amazon. So get the book. The ebook is $9.99. The printed copy is $28. Go invite your friends, your family, your loved ones, the people that you don't like. Tell them to check out my book. It is wonderful. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's a mystery. It's what I was told by another reader. It's a mystery. It's romance in it. It's tragedy. You're gonna cry. You probably want to knock me out and fuss at me, maybe cuss at me, because there's a lot going on in this trilogy. But it is a wonderful read, and it's about family. It's about love, relationships, and I just think it's a wonderful book. So get it. So get it. All right, y'all. Don't forget to like the show. If you like the show tonight, if the information was helpful for you, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and put the notifications on so you'll know when I am going live. Again, share my channel, the Stephanie Humphrey channel, with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers. Next year, we're going to start a new format that I will be telling you about, be able to, and will tell you about in December, so that you're aware of what we're doing new. We're still doing Bible study. We're still doing Sip and Say with Stephanie, just doing it a little bit differently, having a different way that we bring forth the news and the events, the happenings and such. And so I'm looking forward to the newness. I'm looking forward to the expansion. I'm looking forward to the new territory, not only for myself, but for you as well. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful night. Ooh, I'm going to get me another sip. Y'all take another sip with me. All right. Get y'all another sip. Y'all take care now. Have a good night. Blessings. I'm about to choke. Woo, y'all pray for me here. Y'all take care.